Hello, my name is Angel Ashley, and I'm continuing the reading of the Wattpad story I wrote when I was 13. So, if you didn't watch the first part, you should probably go watch it. So we're starting with chapter 11, where Billy has come to the hospital and is about to meet Cat, and that's all we know, really, about it. Whatever. Okay, chapter 11, Billy. I decided to wait for her at the hospital entrance. Okay, who's talking? It's probably Dan. She arrived in less than 10 minutes after I called. She was carrying a rose. Oh my god, what's with all the roses? Why do I love roses so much? Can you guess what my favorite flower is? Probably a rose. Okay, so who did you want me to meet? Did you get someone pregnant? I swear to God, if I'm here to meet the baby, I will punch you in the face, she said jokingly. I didn't say anything and just smiled. Oh my gosh, I was right, wasn't I? You idiot! It better be cute, or I will seriously punch in the face. I think she meant to say, I will seriously punch you in the face, she said, like she was seriously thinking that I got someone pregnant. I love making her overthink. The way her mind works is hilarious. We finally got to the floor they had Cat's room on. Billy kept talking about what she would do if I became a dad. As we came closer and closer to the room, she stopped talking and started to stare at my face. She stopped me right before I was going to open the door and said, "Whoever's in that room, you must really love them, because I've never seen you this excited to show me anything. Well, except for the time you showed me Doctor Who. Or when you learned the entire periodic table song." Billy, this is Cat, I told her as we walked in. She's my sister. Okay, but this doesn't make sense, because they had interacted before. Because, Billy's the one that told her about Dan. Oh my god. Okay, chapter 12, Beauty and the Dork. Wow, we love this chapter. Cats POV. She looked so pretty. She had her hair in pigtails. She had blonde hair with blue and pink on the bottom. I wonder why. I was like, ooh, what'd be cool? She was kind of like Snow White with her hair as white, with her skin as white as snow and her lips as red as blood. She was wearing a black tank top with ripped jeans. She looked like the exact opposite of Dan, who was still wearing his PJs from this morning, which, by the way, was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt with PJ bottoms that had Cookie Monster on them. All I could think in this moment was, why in the entire universe were these two best friends? Wow, way to judge people on their clothing. Chapter 13, The Look. Billy's POV. Thank you. Hello, I said with a smile of relief. It's your sister. Oh, thank goodness. For a second there, I thought I was gonna be an aunt. Cat laughed along with me. Just the thought of Dan being a dad made me laugh my butt off. Just imagining that dork being someone's father. Ha! I have to admit, he would probably have cute children. If they looked like him, with his eyes that are so dark it feels like you're staring into a black hole. But in the right lighting, they have little specks of gold. He would look like an angel. With his pale skin and pink lips, with his brown hair just covering his face when the wind blows, when his hair flies up when he runs and he looks like a turkey, and his smile lights a root. Billy, are you okay? You kind of zoned out. Dan brought me back to earth. Wait, I know that face. What? I said, failing to hide my embarrassment. I don't have a face. Well, I do have a face. Never mind. Oh, come on. I've known you for 7 years? I know that face you make when you think of a dude you like. I've seen you make that exact face like 1 billion times. I do not make a face. And I haven't liked that many guys. I was kind of pissed that he thought this. He started to name all of my crushes since grade 5. Oh, really? What about Matt, Will, Alec, and Trick? The list goes on. Louis, Eric, Felix, Sam, that weird kid, Frederico. I stopped him before I could finish the list. Also, fill in the blank. Who's the weird kid whose name starts with F-R-E. Is it just Fred? Is it just Fred? Or is it like Federico? Or like Freedom? That's a cool name. Like, comment down below what you think the weird kid's name is. Okay, shut up. At least I actually went out with like half of them. You didn't even try with your crushes. He turned red and kept quiet. And by the way, if I did have a face I make, why would I make that face when I was thinking of you, Dan? Cat started to giggle, while Dan just looked confused. I asked why she was giggling, and she said, because I've noticed something about you two. I tried to think, what was about me and Dan worth giggling over? You two kind of remind me of Asuna and Kirito. Have you picked up on all my 13-year-old self's interests yet? Have you picked up on all of them? They're all in here. If you want to get to know me as a person when I was 13, this is the perfect book. This will be my autobiography. This wattpad story. Okay, chapter 14. Them. Cats POV. Thanks. What? They said at the exact same time. You act like you're married, I explained. We do not act like we're married, right, Danny Bear? She said, hitting him on the stomach by accident, just proving my point even more. We're not gonna go into what I think marriage looks like. I don't think that's a thing we should analyze. Analyze. I don't think that's a thing we should analyze. Excuse me. Yeah, we don't act like we're married, he said, slowing down in the middle. Like he realized what he said. I just started to laugh. They were such a married couple, and they didn't even know it. I think this is the happiest I've ever been. I finally feel at home. This is where I belong. With them. Chapter 15. Married. Dan's POV. Okay, I have to admit that me and Billy do act like we're married. I never noticed that until Kat pointed it out. I want to, actually. One day. I wish. I'd never admit this to her, because what she said was true, that I was a coward, and I never even tried to talk to any of my crushes, because I was already talking to her about who she thought was my crushes. But she was the only one. She was always the one. But she would never want to date me. She's so cool, way out of my league. She could date anyone she wants to, while I'm just her dorky best friend. She would never date me. I love her, but she could never love me in the way that I love her. I'm in love with my best friend. Do you get the point? He's in love with her, but she's too cool. She's too cool, he don't think he has a chance. Insecurity. Chapter 16. Please. Okay, we do kind of act sometimes. Well, actually, never mind. But it might make sense. But it is true. Would you just say it already? She said, giving me the death stare. Again, with the death stare. Like, we do kind of act like we're married sometimes, I said, trying not to get hit by the girl I loved. Like, when? She says, like she didn't really know. She really didn't know. Well, you two are wearing matching rings, Kat said, pointing out to the gold wrapped around our left hand ring fingers. Well, these are rings we gave each other as a promise of our friendship. Please tell me the story. I started making puppy eyes and pouting. Oh, wait. We switched perspectives and you didn't. You didn't tell me you was talking, you idiot. You didn't tell me. I'm stuck in a hospital because of you. You might as well tell me some stories. Please. That's where I got the title from. That's what the title is of this chapter, because she says please. Yeah, isn't that creative? That's a creative reason to title a chapter please, because the character says please in it. Chapter 17, 2009. It was the summer of 2009. We were at the thrift shop, and it was so fun. Who's talking? Billy was like, okay, it's Dan. Just getting to hang out with my best friend, finding treasures in the rows of shelves and racks. Billy was looking at the jewelry section and found these rings. I knew she wanted them, but she didn't admit it. So I bought them while she was trying on clothes. I hid them in my pocket. When she came out, she was wearing a white sundress, a flower crown, a pearl necklace, and sky blue heels. Wait, what? You remembered the color of my shoes? I didn't even remember. Married, Cat whispered in my ear, scaring me, causing me to fall off the edge of the bed. Physical comedy! Do you want to hear the story or not? I said, getting off the floor. Please continue. I want to see how many details you remember from one of our most important days of our friendship, Billy said sarcastically. Why is she being sarcastic? Doesn't she genuinely want to know what details he remembers? If it's one of the most important days of our friendship? Anyways, okay, where were we? I asked to make sure they were paying attention. My sky blue heels? Billy said with a smile that looked fake. Why is she angry? Why is she always angry? Why is she upset? Right, she came out and she pushed me in the dressing room, closed the door, and started throwing clothes through the hole above the door. She told me to wear them. I didn't want to, but then she said if I didn't do it myself, she'd come into the dressing room and do it for me. I changed as fast as I could. Why is she so threatening? Why is she being so mean? My God. Billy. I came out wearing a white polo shirt, black pants, and a bow tie. She told me not to change and to put my clothes in my backpack. So we paid for the clothes and went to our favorite park and sat under our favorite tree. And that's when I surprised her with the rings. She hugged me and said thank you. And then she told me she had an idea. Her idea was to do this every year on our anniversary, and to make it official, we both make friendship vows and put the rings on each other's fingers. So you mostly got married, Kat said, proving her point even more. It wasn't a wedding, it was a friendship ceremony, Billy said, trying to prove Kat wrong. With rings and vows. Seriously, you guys are so married. What did you even say in this friendship vows? Kat asked. Well, I vowed that as long as I'm alive, I'll always be at her side. And if she needs me for anything, she can just call me and I'll be there. You will always be my friend, my buddy, my soulmate, and most of all, my best friend, I told Kat. I could tell that she was about to cry, and I vowed to always stick with her, you, and never leave you alone. I promised to protect you from people who were mean. Are you going to protect them from yourself, Billy? Because you're pretty mean. And if anyone hurt you, I'd punch them in the face. And then I kissed him on the cheek, Billy said with a smile. Aw, you guys are so married. You're so married couple, Kat said. No, we're just comfortable enough with each other that we do things other people see as things people who are more than friends do. But to us, we do these because we're best friends. Anyway, if we continue to act like this, we're probably going to end up with each other in the end. Billy looked at me at the end. That was the first time in a long time that her eyes looked at me in a loving way instead of the death stare. I loved her eyes. The way her eyes sparkled when she was in deep thought, or the way she squints when she smiles. She is the most beautiful girl I have ever seen, and I love her. Dan, what did you say? She said so surprised. You love me? Billy said, sounding surprisingly happy. Chapter 18, Love. Billy's POV. Ooh, look at that. You love me? I said, hoping I was right. Dan said he loves me. Please answer yes, because I love him. My face turned red as I asked him again. Danny Bear, did you just say that you love me? My mind was racing, full of all different answers. What if I was just hearing things? What if it was all in my mind? What if this whole day was a dream? And then it happened. He said it. I love you. And then ran out of the room. I guess he was nervous of what was going to happen next. I looked at Kat and I knew we had the same idea. She nodded, and I knew I needed to run after him. After all, he was very socially awkward, and I knew that very well. You have no idea how many times I had to ditch my date at parties because he did something so embarrassing that he needed to go home. But I did owe him, after all. He was the one who took care of me after I got drunk at parties. He knew my parents would kill me if I came home drunk, so he would always let me sleep over at his apartment. He'd take such good care of me. I love him, and I want to take care of him. I love him, and now I know that he loves me. I can't let him get away. When I got outside the room, I ran to the stairways where I knew he would be. He always went to the closest room where no one would go. I got to the stairs. I saw him sitting on the steps. Danny Bear, are you okay? I'm sorry if I embarrassed you. I'm sorry if I embarrassed you. Or if I'm putting too much pressure on you. But the thing is, I hesitated, but I had to say it. This is my chance to tell the truth, for once. Are you a liar? Do you lie often? Billy! I love you too, and you have been my crush for the... Then he kissed me. My whole world froze. This wasn't either of our first kisses or anything. It was our first kiss, and it was different from all the other kisses I've had. This was Dan who was kissing me. And I'm not going to give any details because he'd probably be embarrassed. I like that I spell embarrassed right the second time. Like, that one's right. And never forgive me if I told you guys, but I'll tell you guys this. Dan is a great kisser. Better than I expected. I love you, I told him while we walked back to the room. Chapter 19, Ruin. I knew they loved each other. You could tell by the way they look at each other. It's been about 5 minutes since Billy ran after Dan. I hope they didn't ditch me. I heard the door open, but it was just the nurse. It was the same nurse that came for every hour or so. She was nice. She told me to relax and stay awake. She had brought me my lunch, which was a turkey sandwich with a pudding snack pack. I started to eat while I waited for them to come back. The doctor came in a few minutes later. Billy and Dan hadn't got back yet. He told me that they did some tests and they found some damage on my occipital lobe of my brain. He started to talk about the different things that could happen because of the damage. He said I could have vision loss, or I could become unable of identifying colors. But the worst part was it was possible for me to become blind, and there's no cure, only treatments that are too expensive. Dan and Billy walked in a few seconds after the doctor left. Hey, what did the doctor say? Billy asked, concerned. I decided I wouldn't tell them what the doctor said, because I didn't want to ruin this day for them. They looked so happy. Oh, nothing important. You know, take the medicine, stay awake, blah, 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 blah. But who cares about me? What happened with you? I asked, trying to change the subject. Well, nothing's going to change that much, except now that I know she loves me back, and now we can say not only these rings are for friendship, but also for our love, he said while holding Billy's hand. I love you, he said to Billy before he kissed her hand. How could I ruin this? How could I ruin their happiness? I will tell them one day, but not today. Chapter 20, Sunshine. Okay, here we go. Last chapter before I stop this. And then we'll see if I want to keep going. Chapter 20, Sunshine. Billy's POV. When Cat got discharged from the hospital, it was around 9 at night. We all walked back to the apartment. Cat fell asleep, so Dan carried her most of the way. She was so cute in the night light, and the way he took care of the sister he just found yesterday. When we got to the apartment, he put Cat in his room and then sat on the couch. I sat next to him, and I could see that he was upset. How long was Cat in the hospital? When did they do the timeline? Timelines matter, and I didn't give any shit. I didn't care about the timelines, did I? Oh well. I could see that he was upset. I didn't ask him anything because I knew it wouldn't help, so I started to sing. My only sunshine, you make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I just sang it over and over again. He started to smile. We always sang that to each other when we were sad or nervous. He just hugged me and said, I love you so much. You know that, right? I promise to always try to be there for you when you need me. Remember that, okay? I just started to cry, and I was so not deserving of this love, so I just dug my face into his neck, trying to hide my tears. Then when he started to sing, my only sunshine, you make me happy when skies are gray. Sorry. I spelled gray 2 different ways. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. We were both clearly upset, so we just lied down on the couch and cuddled. We talked all night. We even talked about what we'd name our kids one day. He said he would want to name his first son Phil or George, and for a girl, he said he'd name her Snow or Evangeline. Oh my god, my ear is itchy. I told him that if we had a daughter, I would let him name her Evangeline Snow Evan. He started to talk about his plans for the future, how he wants to get a degree in culinary, how he wants to have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, what he wants our wedding to be like. And while he was talking, all I could think was, how did I get this perfect human being to fall in love with me? A broken person who's made many mistakes. How did he manage to get stuck with me? All I know is that he isn't going to love me this much when he finds out my secret. But I'll love him while I can. Oh my god, plot twist, Billy has a secret. And we're not gonna find out until the next episode of reading the cringy Wattpad story I wrote when I was 13 years old. That's the theme song. I'm gonna put it at the beginning of the next episode, and I'll make like a whole thing. Just watch. It'll be great. Now I have to do that because now it's in my brain. You're welcome. And if you want to keep listening, yeah, okay. I'm gonna go now. Bye. You're killing me, 13. You're killing me. Oh my god.